Welcome back, guys. Now let's begin with a new chapter in physiology. That's the renal physiology. Okay, see, renal physiology is going to be a really big chapter, and here you'll be getting a lot of concepts. Okay, the renal physiology, you can integrate it as much as with the with the other clinical subjects, renal pathology and renal internal medicine. High integrations are there. Now, having said that, let's begin with the basics. So, this video is the introduction to renal physiology, and here we'll be discussing what are the functions of the kidneys. Okay. Now, to begin with, how many kidneys do we have? We have 2 kidneys. Okay, we have 2 kidneys. Now, where exactly are these kidneys present? What is the location? See, kidneys are extending from T2 vertebra. Okay, they are extending from T2 vertebra level till L3. Okay, so T12. Sorry, I said T2, right? No, it's T12. Okay, so from T12, okay, from T12 to L3, T12 to L3 is the location of the kidneys. And how many kidneys do we have? 2 kidneys. Kidneys have nephrons. Okay, 3.5 million nephrons are there. We have 3.5 million nephrons. After this, I also want you to know here there is abdominal aorta. Okay, abdominal aorta will be going something like this. Okay, now at the level of L2 vertebra. Okay, at the level of L2 vertebra. Okay, perpendicularly to the abdominal aorta, this renal arteries arises. Okay, renal arteries arises from the abdominal aorta and they will go to the kidneys. Okay, these renal arteries will bring the blood to the kidneys and kidneys will filter the waste products. Now, so what is the level of renal artery? The renal artery is arising at the level of L2. Actually, it is arising in a junction between L1 and L2. So, if you have to pick up one single answer, it is L2. Okay, it is L2. Now, please look at here, it's a little correction, it's a L2 vertebra. Okay, so kidneys are located between T12 and L3 vertebra we have discussed. Okay, now right kidney is slightly lower when compared to the left kidney. Why? See, even this image you can see, the right kidney is coming little lower. Okay, it's coming little lower when compared to the left kidney, because here in this place, okay, in the right upper quadrant, you will be having liver. So, that liver is pushing down the kidney a little bit down. So, that's why the right kidney is little lower. Okay, right kidney is slightly lower due to larger portion of the liver on the right side. Now, after this, let's discuss about the functions of the kidneys. Okay, why the hell do we need these kidneys? Okay, so what are the important roles which are played by the kidneys in our body? First function, every student knows, kidneys are helping in filtration of the blood, trying to take out the waste products out of the body. Okay, so it's the excretion of the nitrogenous waste products. Okay, the waste products which are produced in our body, okay, every day, like blood, urea, nitrogen, as well as the creatinine. So this blood, urea, nitrogen and creatinine, these are the waste products which are produced in the body, and these should be going out in the urine. Okay, they should be going out in the urine, and who will do that job for us? It's the kidneys. Okay, now secretion of erythropoietin. So what exactly is this EPO, erythropoietin? Erythropoietin, name see, erythro means RBCs, poietin means production. So, erythropoietin is produced from peritubular capillaries. Okay, peritubular capillaries. Now, if you ask me what are these peritubular capillaries, very simple. Imagine this is a nephron. Okay, imagine this is the nephron. Nephrons are surrounded by blood vessels. Okay, nephron is like a tube. Now, these tubes are surrounded by blood vessels. So, peritubular, around the nephrons, there are these blood vessels present. Okay, if I show you, see, imagine this is a nephron. Okay, Bowman's capsule, here is a nephron. Okay, now these nephrons are surrounded by the blood vessels. Now, these blood vessels which are surrounding the nephron, these blood vessels are called as the peritubular capillaries. And these peritubular capillaries are the ones which actually produce the erythropoietin, and erythropoietin helps in production of RBCs. Okay, but if you don't find this answer, okay, peritubular capillaries, if you don't find this in your options, then mark interstitial cells. Okay, interstitial cells of peritubular capillaries. Okay, interstitial cell of peritubular capillaries. So, this erythropoietin is produced by peritubular capillaries, best answer, or you can also answer like interstitial cells of peritubular capillaries helps in production of erythropoietin. Done. Now, after this, let's discuss about the renin. See, we all know renin is an enzyme which converts angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. Okay, angiotensin 2 helps in production of aldosterone, renin-angiotensin-aldosterone pathway. We know it. Okay, later we will discuss in detail. But anyway, so this renin, from where exactly is this renin coming? Renin is coming from the kidneys. In the kidneys, from the nephrons. From the nephrons, this renin is coming from cells called as juxtaglomerular cells. Later on, I will show you, in the nephrons, there are these cells called as the juxtaglomerular cells. Now, these juxtaglomerular cells of the nephrons will produce renin. Renin activates the RAAS pathway. Okay, RAAS pathway. Now, after that, let's discuss about the activation of vitamin D. We all know vitamin D. Vitamin D is also called as calcitriol. or 1,25 dihydroxycholecalciferol. Vitamin D helps in absorption of calcium, homeostasis, calcium homeostasis, the important vitamin. Okay, so this activation of vitamin D will also happen in the PCT. Okay, in detail about the activation of vitamin D we will discuss, but here see vitamin D, it is produced where? In the kidneys. In the kidneys where? In the nephrons. In the nephrons where? PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, the first part of the nephron. See, here is a Bowman's capsule. After Bowman's capsule, see here you are having the proximal convoluted tubule. Now this proximal convoluted tubule are epithelial cells. Okay, in this epithelial cells, the inactive vitamin D will be converted into its active form. Okay, activation of vitamin D happens in PCT. Not only that, acid-base balance. Okay, kidneys do play a role in acid-base balance. Now, see, now we all the time we need to have a proper pH. We all the time need to have a proper pH. Normal blood pH is how much? 7.35 to 7.45. Okay, that's a normal blood pH. And it is must and should to have a normal pH, otherwise if there is any alteration in a pH means now enzymes will start functioning. Okay, enzymes will stop functioning. Okay, and not only that, proteins will undergo denaturation. So we all the time want the pH to be normal, so that normal metabolism happens, normal biochemical reactions happens. Okay, now if there is any alteration in pH, like something like acidosis or alkalosis, now you need to have certain regulatory points, like lungs are the first line in regulation. Okay, whenever, sorry, not lungs, it's a buffer system. So whenever there is any fluctuation in the pH, now buffers will come into the play. Okay, there are certain substances which are called as the buffers. They will try to regulate the pH. Okay, buffers. After that, second line of regulation is the lungs. Now lungs, by doing some changes, certain changes in the respiration. Okay, by doing certain changes in the respiration, will actually control the pH. Okay, lungs are the second line. Okay, for example, if there is any alteration in respiration pattern, that can influence your pH. Okay, that we will discuss. And not only that, even our kidneys, okay, during the states of acidosis and alkalosis, now kidneys will also try their best to maintain the pH. Okay, so kidneys are the third line of regulation. Okay, so these are the general functions of the kidneys. Okay, so 5 important functions of the kidneys are nitrogenous waste product excretion, that's the blood urea nitrogen excretion, as well as the creatinine excretion. Not only that, erythropoietin production, RBC production, renin production from the JG cells, and activation of vitamin D in the PCT, and acid-base balance. Okay, now after this, let's discuss about the activation of vitamin D. Okay, now let's see in detail about the activation of vitamin D. Now look at this image, guys. Now activation of vitamin D, we all have the skin or not? Yes, we all have the skin. From our childhood, we were taught that, like, go and expose yourself to the sun so that you will get vitamin D. Okay, vitamin D is coming from the sun. How actually? See, sun is producing this radiation. Okay, sun is giving this energy. Now what is this energy? It's a UVB radiation. It's a type of energy, simple energy. Okay, sun is giving the energy. Now what happens when this UVB radiation, when it falls on the skin, okay, when it falls on the skin, what happens? Now in the skin, what do we have? In the skin there is this subcutaneous fat present. Okay, there is this subcutaneous fat present. Now here we have the cholesterol. Okay, we have the cholesterol. Now whenever this vitamin B is falling over there, now what happens? This cholesterol, okay, 7-dehydroxycholesterol which is present in our skin, it's a cholesterol form, 7-dehydroxycholesterol. Now this 7-dehydroxycholesterol is converted into cholecalciferol. Okay, when this radiation is falling over here, now 7-dehydroxycholesterol is converted into cholecalciferol. Okay, now what happened to this cholecalciferol? See, now this cholecalciferol, look at here, now this cholecalciferol, it will go to the liver. Okay, it will go to the liver. Via blood it will go to the liver. So in the liver, what is happening? Now this cholecalciferol is going to be hydroxylated. Okay, one hydroxy group is going to add on to this cholecalciferol. Okay, on 25th carbon position. Now imagine this is the cholecalciferol molecule. Okay, now think that this is cholecalciferol. Now what is happening to this cholecalciferol? Onto this cholecalciferol molecule, one hydroxy group is being added on the 25th carbon position. So we are going to call this cholecalciferol as 25-hydroxycholecalciferol. Okay, so 25-hydroxycholecalciferol. Why? Because on 25th carbon position, one hydroxyl group is added. So now tell me, in vitamin D activation, first hydroxylation happens in which organ? First hydroxylation happens in liver. Okay, first hydroxylation happens in liver. Later what happened to this 25-hydroxycholecalciferol? Remember, this 25-hydroxycholecalciferol is called as inactive vitamin D. Okay, it is called as inactive vitamin D. Okay, inactive vitamin. Now, this inactive vitamin D, it will come to the kidneys. Where it is coming to the kidneys? It's coming to the nephrons. In the nephrons where now this inactive vitamin D will be going to the proximal convoluted tubular cells. Okay, proximal convoluted tubular cells. Now in this proximal convoluted tubular cells, now this inactive vitamin D will be converted into, say, in the kidneys, in the PCT. Now the inactive vitamin D is getting converted into active vitamin D or active vitamin D3, which is called as 1,25, 1,25 dihydroxycholecalciferol. So what exactly is happening here? Now onto this 25 hydroxycholecalciferol, there is already one hydroxyl group, right? Now one more hydroxyl group is being added. For example, now this is our 25 hydroxycholecalciferol. Now what happens on the first carbon position? One more hydroxylation will happen. This is 1, okay, on first position as well as 25th position. So 1,25 dihydroxycholecalciferol or active vitamin D3. Okay, active vitamin D3. Now important point is, why activation of this vitamin D3 is happening only in the PCT? Why? Because, see, for this activation you need to have an enzyme which is called as 1-alpha hydroxylase or alpha-1 hydroxylase. So this alpha-1 hydroxylase is present in the PCT. Okay, alpha-1 hydroxylase is present in the PCT. Now this alpha-1 hydroxylase is going to convert inactive vitamin D into active vitamin D. Completed. Now once you have this vitamin D, okay, now what this vitamin D will do? Okay, this active vitamin D, what it will do? Now this active vitamin D, it will go to your GIT, okay, it will go to your gastrointestinal tract. In the gastrointestinal tract, it will allow to absorb, okay, it helps in absorption of calcium as well as phosphates, both important, okay, both calcium and phosphate, both are reabsorbed. Sorry, I shouldn't say reabsorbed, it is absorbed, okay, both calcium and phosphate are absorbed in the GIT. Okay, this is the normal, okay, normal process in the activation of vitamin D. Remember the first action of the parathyroid hormone. Okay, the first action of the parathyroid hormone is activation of alpha-1 hydroxylase. Now if you ask me what exactly is this? See, now in the proximal convoluted tubule, yes, we have discussed. In the proximal convoluted tubule, inactive vitamin D is converted into active vitamin D. But is it happening every time? It is happening all the 24/7. Okay, all like every day it is happening? No. Whenever you need vitamin D, then only, whenever you need vitamin D, then only vitamin D is getting activated. First of all, when do you need vitamin D? Okay, when do you need vitamin D? See, now try to understand. Normally, vitamin D is helping in calcium and phosphate absorption, we have seen. So, vitamin D raises blood calcium levels, vitamin D raises blood phosphate levels. So, what is the stimulus? When do you actually need vitamin D? Now, we'll see. See, now, whenever in your blood calcium level goes down, okay, whenever in the blood calcium level goes down, that is called as hypocalcemia, we know, hypocalcemia, okay, hypocalcemia. Now this hypocalcemia, okay, is going to activate which glands in your body? This hypocalcemia is going to activate, okay, this hypocalcemia is going to activate parathyroid glands, okay, hypocalcemia activates parathyroid glands. Now in the parathyroid gland, there are these cells called as the chief cells, okay, in the parathyroid gland, there are these cells called as the chief cells, which are derived from the third pharyngeal pouch, important, okay, like embryologically this is something important. So parathyroid glands contains cells called as chief cells. Now those chief cells are derived from the third pharyngeal pouch, okay sir. Now what these chief cells are doing? All the time 24/7, these chief cells are looking at the blood calcium level, okay, they are looking at the blood calcium level. Whenever the blood calcium level goes down, okay, whenever the blood calcium level goes down, what happens? That hypocalcemia is going to activate the chief cells in the parathyroid gland. Now the parathyroid gland, what it will do? Now parathyroid gland will produce a hormone which is called as parathyroid hormone, PTH. Okay, parathyroid hormone. Now what this parathyroid hormone should have to do? Okay, what is the problem now? The problem is hypocalcemia. This is the problem. Now what we need to do? See, this parathyroid hormone, what it will do is, it will come via the blood, this parathyroid hormone, it will activate alpha-1 hydroxylase. Okay, it will activate alpha-1 hydroxylase. Now what alpha-1 hydroxylase is doing? Alpha-1 hydroxylase, under the influence of parathyroid hormone, it will convert inactive vitamin D into, okay, it will convert inactive vitamin D into active vitamin D. Now what this active vitamin D is doing? Now this active vitamin D, it will go to the GIT. See, it is going to the GIT. Now what it is doing? It is increasing the absorption of calcium. It is increasing the absorption of calcium. Okay, so calcium is getting absorbed. So the problem is hypocalcemia, less calcium levels. So vitamin D is activated, okay, with the help of parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone activates vitamin D. Vitamin D absorbs the calcium. So blood levels of calcium are elevated. So that's why parathyroid hormone, what it will do? It will activate alpha-1 hydroxylase. What this alpha 1 hydroxylase will do? Activates vitamin D. Now what this vitamin D will do? Vitamin D goes to the GIT. In the GIT, with the help of this 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐻, okay, when the GIT epithelial cells, whenever they are acted upon by the vitamin D, now the GIT epithelial cells, they will produce this 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐻. It's like a protein which helps in absorption of calcium. Okay, 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐻, calcium binding. Okay, it helps in absorption of calcium as well as phosphate. So one more important point here itself I want you to know, this vitamin D, okay, vitamin D is also called as calcitriol. Okay, it is also called as calcitriol. Okay, active vitamin D3. Now, see this vitamin D, it's a vitamin, yes, it's a vitamin which acts like hormone. Okay, so which vitamin acts like a hormone? It's a vitamin D. Why? Because usually for the calcium homeostasis, it's a parathyroid hormone. Okay, parathyroid hormone and calcitonin, they are like maintaining the calcium homeostasis. Now this one vitamin which is maintaining the calcium homeostasis is again vitamin D. So it's acting like a hormone. It's acting like a hormone. Okay, like a parathyroid hormone. Okay, so what is the active form of vitamin D? It's a calcitriol. But never ever get confused. There is one more hormone in your body which is called as calcitonin. Okay, don't confuse, note. Okay, don't confuse with calcitonin. Okay, so now what exactly is calcitonin, calcitriol, calcitonin? Everything looks same, right? So what exactly is this calcitonin? See, calcitonin is a hormone which is produced from the parafollicular, not parathyroid, parafollicular. Okay, parafollicular C cells. Okay, so parafollicular C cells of thyroid gland. Okay. So calcitonin is produced by the parafollicular C cells of the thyroid gland. So if I show you, okay, in a simple way, look at here guys. This is the thyroid gland. Okay, this is not your RBC, this is the thyroid gland. Now usually the thyroid gland, it contains these cells called as the follicular cells. Okay, all these are the follicular cells with the central colloid. Okay, follicular cells are there. Not only the follicular cells, the thyroid gland also have some cells surrounding the follicle. These cells are called as parafollicular cells, parafollicular C cells. Okay, now this parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland will produce calcitonin. Now, what are the functions of the calcitonin? Okay, what are the functions of the calcitonin if you really know? Okay, if you really know, that's good. Now, calcitonin actually decreases the blood calcium levels. Okay, decreases the blood calcium levels. Okay, it's a calciuretic hormone, decreases the calcium out of the body. Okay, so decreases the calcium levels. What vitamin D is doing? Vitamin D is increasing the blood calcium levels. Also remember the parathyroid hormone. Later we will discuss about the parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone also increases the blood calcium levels by activating the vitamin D. Parathyroid hormone also activates the osteoclast, causes the bone resorption, increases the blood calcium levels. So here I want to discuss about the three important hormones which are involved in calcium homeostasis. Okay, what are the three important hormones? First hormone, parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone, what it will do? It increases the blood calcium levels. True, no doubt. Parathyroid hormone activates vitamin D. What vitamin D will do? Vitamin D increases the blood calcium levels. True. So parathyroid hormone and vitamin D, they are like synergistic. They are like working like a same thing. They are working like same. But what is this calcitonin doing? Calcitonin will decrease the blood calcium levels. So vitamin D and calcitonin are antagonistic hormones. Okay. See, I shouldn't say antagonistic hormones. Why? Because vitamin D is not actually a hormone. But I can say something like this, parathyroid hormone and calcitonin, they are antagonistic hormones. Both are hormones. Okay, both are hormones. Parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone increases the blood calcium levels, but calcitonin decreases the blood calcium levels. Okay, now let's discuss one more important point. Okay, let's discuss one more important point so that you will have some basics. See, what this vitamin D is doing. My question to you. So, vitamin D, it will go to the GIT, it's going to the GIT, it is increasing, okay, calcium as well as phosphates, calcium as well as phosphates. So, vitamin D increases both blood calcium levels as well as blood phosphate levels. Both calcium and phosphates are elevated. But one important point here I want you to know, the parathyroid hormone, yes, it increases the blood calcium levels, true. But the parathyroid hormone also acts on the PCT. Okay, parathyroid hormone, yes, it acts on the PCT, decreases the reabsorption of phosphates. Whenever the parathyroid hormone is there, see, when this parathyroid hormone, where it will act? It will act on the PCT. Now, in the PCT, what it will do? It will decrease the reabsorption of phosphates. Okay, so remember, like phosphate trashing hormone, parathyroid hormones takes the phosphate out of the body, only increase the blood calcium levels but decrease the blood phosphate levels. But if you are talking about vitamin D increase both the calcium as well as phosphates. Okay, so now in this video we have seen some important points, like the important functions of the kidneys, general basic points about the kidneys, and also we have seen about the activation of vitamin D3. Now in the next video we will discuss about the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone pathway. Okay, hope the video is helpful. Thank you.